What's up, CJ's Keto Kitchen family? This is CJ.
And Sarah.
It's a Wednesday, and that means it's time for another Keto
Conversations.
So let's get started. All right, so welcome back to a Keto Conversation. If you're new to our channel, this is a segment that we started this channel close to 4 years ago. And the idea behind the Keto Conversation segment, which we do every Wednesday, is we sit down and we talk about relevant keto topics, keto education, keto tips, and then it's kind of morphed over the years. Sometimes we also have food unboxings on Wednesday nights, and then sometimes we do what we eat videos as well.
Product reviews,
maybe a grocery haul.
Yeah.
But we started Keto Conversations to talk about keto topics.
Yes.
And so that's what we're going to do tonight. And you found the article, so I'm going to let you kind of lead it off. And I'm going to do what you told me. You said I could leave.
So you're exiting the building. Goodbye, CJ.
Because you don't need me here.
I'm not. Your good looks and charm should just stay right there.
Oh, so I just need to look pretty?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. So this conversation is based on an article by Mark Sisson, who is very famous in the primal world, and he has a blog. But I thought that this was a very relevant topic, especially for maybe people who are new to the ketogenic lifestyle. Even if you have been on the ketogenic lifestyle, you might still have these questions or not know the answer. So we're just going to talk about 6 frequently asked questions for the ketogenic diet. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight.
And this is from again, Sarah mentioned from a blog post, but it's part of a larger blog post.
Yes.
Where I think it was actually 30.
It's 30 questions.
30 questions. So we didn't want you to sit through 30 questions tonight, and neither do we. So if you find this interesting after this, you watch this video and then you want to hear about more stuff, we will do more, but we just didn't want to do 30 topics tonight. So anyway, let's get started. So the first question is, what is keto in the fewest words possible?
And I thought that was kind of an interesting question, but there's so much out there about what the ketogenic diet is. But what he said is that keto is any diet where carbohydrate intake is low enough that the liver starts producing ketones. So hence the name. So basically, keto is different for everyone because all of us will produce ketones at a different carbohydrate intake level. So basically the keto diet is very personalized. And that's, I guess, what it should be when you're talking about any kind of diet.
Yeah, it's very personalized. But, I mean, there's some, I guess, guidelines of, 20...
Generally, it's 20 grams of carbs.
Of carbs.
Net carbs.
Net carbs per day. So 20 grams of net carbs per day. But like Sarah said, all of us are different. Our bodies are different. And so your carb tolerance to start producing ketones might be higher than mine. Mine might be lower than yours.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with, your sex, your age, your metabolic health, if you have any kind of insulin resistance, or if you're pre-diabetic or are diabetic. So there's all kinds of different factors. Some people can, be in ketosis eating 50 grams of carbs.
Yeah. And so basically it's a diet or lifestyle where you, again,
produce ketones.
You do that by lowering your carb intake to a point where your body starts to use ketones as fuel versus carbs.
Yep.
So that's keto in a nutshell.
Yes.
The basic foundations of it. So the next question is, what are macros? And macros are, I guess, a universal way to explain it is they're units of measurements for different macronutrients that are part of our food. So we've all seen a food label. And I'm not talking about keto, I'm just talking about a food label. We all seen a food label, and they have calories, they have carbohydrates, they have proteins listed, fats listed, trans fats, sugars. Yeah. So those units, carbs, proteins, fats, those are macros. And again, they're just units
of energy, basically.
Of energy.
Yeah.
and for each whatever food you're eating. So it's kind of interesting because when we do recipes, we do everything we can to make sure we get the macros correct. We have software that we use, and we go through painstaking amount of work, especially if something doesn't look right. But I've always said to Sarah, I said, well, how do we even know that the macros are right on the stuff that we get from the store? We don't know. So, I mean, if you really think about it, you don't know. We all take it for granted that it's correct because it's supposed to be correct.
Right.
But you really don't know. And I'm not saying that we are doing that with our recipes. I'm just saying that I've thought about that before, that when I pick up a can of XYZ from whatever, I don't know these numbers are right.
Right. Well, and it's funny because you can take from brand to brand even, and you'll have different macronutrients.
Yes, we've seen that when we were doing recipes. Yeah. We've seen it where we
a can of vegetables, like a can of green beans.
Say, we've seen that where you have a can and this is this
like Del Monte and then something else.
You know, but again, macros are, if you really take for what they are, they're units of measurements, and they're used so you can know what the energy load that you're putting into your body, and all the rest of the foods that you're putting in your body, or nutrients you're putting into your body. That's what I should say. And so, because the next question on our list is, do you have to calculate your macros and track them, to track your food?
If you want to practice the ketogenic diet.
Do you have to track your macros on keto? So I would say no. You don't have to track your macros. We are both we are
polar opposites of this experience.
So I have tracked my macros in the past. Sarah has done it intuitively, where she can kind of intuitively figure out what she's eating. I have tracked my macros using different apps to do that. But you do not have to do it, but it kind of depends on the person. I think that's really what it depends on. It depends on you as a person.
Do you think it would be beneficial even at the start, maybe?
Think I do. Yeah. I think at the start, it would be wise for someone to track your macros, because how are you going to know that you're eating 20 grams of net carbs per day if you don't track your macros?
So would you say that the most important thing about macros and tracking macros is keeping your carbs low?
Yes.
Okay.
And when you first start out, I would almost say that, cut back on the sugar and then track your carbs. The other stuff, the fats, the proteins, yes, they're important, but those two things, the carbs and the sugars, will make a big difference right there. And so if you can keep those carb numbers, and there's different macro calculators and websites that will tell you, okay, you're doing keto, this is what your ideal macros should be for you to lose weight, this amount of weight.
It will have you put in your goals a lot of times if you're, doing it for health or weight loss, and how fast you want to do it and all of that
and
stuff.
So, but if you're going to really look at what you really need to track when you're first starting out, I do think it's good for people to track, because you'll be surprised right now if you just started tracking. Okay, let's say you're just thinking about keto and you started tracking what you're eating right now. You're not even doing keto. You'll be shocked how many carbs you're eating every day just in your normal just everyday life. You'll be so surprised at how many, what you're eating, because I had no reason to track it.
Right.
So, I've had it even pre-keto days. I've had where I've lost weight before, not on keto, where I've had trainers say, track everything you eat for the next 3 weeks, and then come back to me with your list of everything that you've eaten, all the calculation, all the macros and everything. And the reason they're doing that is because, again, you have no idea what you're eating.
Right.
And
it can be eye-opening.
Sure. You have no idea. So I'm just saying, that's just not keto or not. You have no idea what you're eating as far as the numbers and the macros behind it, the amounts of carbs, amounts of protein, amounts of fat. You have no idea of what you're eating unless you track it somehow. And then later on, as you do keto, then maybe you can switch to doing what Sarah does.
But also, likewise, if you find that you're hitting a roadblock with keto and you've been keto for a number of years, maybe you should try tracking again for a little bit. You know, it's something that you can go back to if you want.
Yeah, that's true.
To keep an eye on yourself.
That's true.
So.
All right.
So number 4, what is the keto flu? So the keto flu is usually a feeling that you can sometimes have when you start the ketogenic diet. So it usually encompasses headaches or low energy, just kind of feel like you have the flu. And that's just your body switching from using glucose, sugars, carbohydrates, to using ketones. And one of the biggest things to help you through this is making sure that you are adequately hydrated and have enough electrolytes. So when I say electrolytes, I'm talking things like sodium, potassium, magnesium. So there's lots of supplementation that you can do. Lots of companies make electrolytes to help you, both powders that you can mix into water and also capsules that you can take. We always have those different things listed in our Amazon favorites and our description boxes and that kind of thing if you're looking for electrolytes that we have used in the past, and it can be helpful. And not everyone gets the keto flu. I didn't get it. I don't think you got it, did you?
I think I got, yes, I do think I got the keto flu. Because another thing that could be part of the keto flu is your mood can change. And
you got grumpy.
You can get grumpy. So I got grumpier than I am normally. so maybe that's what you can tell.
Okay.
No, I know I had pretty low energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like Sarah said, everybody doesn't get the keto flu,
right.
And so you don't. I mean, you just go, and it will pass.
Right. It doesn't stay for a long time. Yeah.
It will pass because it's just your body switching. It's just your body making this change from
using a new source of fuel. It's like you're becoming a hybrid. You're going from where you were a gas guzzler and now you're switching to electric. And it's fine. Your motor is still going to run and you're going to have all your efficiency. It just takes a little time to switch over.
Yeah, and actually you'll be more efficient.
Yes.
Yes. When you start burning ketones, you'll be more efficient than you were when you were a gas guzzler.
Yes.
All right. So do I have to fast with keto? Now I'm going to let you talk about that because you're a fasting guru.
I'm a fast girl. Yes. So,
You're
no.
What?
That was a joke.
You're
fast. Get it?
Okay,
fast.
Fast. Yes. Okay. You weren't supposed to tell people you were fast.
So the short answer is no. You do not. You don't ever have to fast for your entire life. But a lot of people who start the ketogenic lifestyle and become comfortable becoming ketone burners versus glucose burners can sometimes naturally start to at least practice intermittent fasting because your appetite is reduced. And that is generally why a lot of times the ketogenic or the low carb lifestyle will go hand in hand with fasting. It's easier to fast if you're eating that way because you just have a smaller appetite and you can go longer between meals without feeling yucky because the food is satiating and because your body is becoming more efficient in burning your own body fat. So no, you don't ever have to fast.
Yeah.
But
and I do think people get under the impression that, especially if you do a lot of research,
like it's required.
That it's required.
Yeah.
I know I've talked to people online before where they, because you can, I can see why you would get that impression. Fasting, intermittent fasting along with keto can help supercharge your keto.
Well, it's the ultimate carb restriction.
Right. It can help.
You're not eating anything.
It can help supercharge it.
Yes.
But it is not required for keto to work for you.
There are lots of people who've lost a significant amount of weight on the ketogenic lifestyle never having fasted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yes. So no, you do not. If you want to, great. My personal suggestion, I didn't begin fasting with this lifestyle until about a year in. So I do recommend at least giving your body a chance to adapt to the ketogenic lifestyle on its own before you jump into fasting. At least allow yourself to become adapted to the ketogenic lifestyle before you begin. I just think it would be a little bit easier. And consequently, it will be easier to fast once you become fat adapted into the ketogenic lifestyle. So that's just my personal opinion and recommendation.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I always, I've fasted off and on, and I don't know, I think my fasting issues are all up here in my head more than anything, because I feel like, man, if I'm not eating, then I better be dropping a bunch of weight, like stat. But that's not
That's
necessarily
just not the
how
case.
it works. And so again, I admit that is all just in my head. That's in my head. I'm not looking at fasting the right way. I'm actually a big proponent of fasting.
Well, and people do use, and myself included, do use fasting, not even for weight loss, but for health concerns,
Yes.
future health concerns. I used to think that I had genetics in my favor with my family history, and the last few years have shown me both of my parents have had extreme health problems in their 60s, and so I have these measures that I'm trying for myself to practice fasting to just help my genetic blueprint along a little bit. So
Yes.
if you want to fast for other reasons besides weight loss, that's also an option.
Yes, we're both big proponents of fasting. So
okay, so the last one, number 6.
yeah, well, you go ahead and do that one.
Okay, so the last one is, I heard blank isn't allowed on keto. So this is kind of like the match game or something, where fill in the blank. So it could be anything. It could be, I heard bread isn't allowed, I heard rice isn't allowed, I heard sugar isn't allowed, I heard carrots aren't allowed, whatever. It runs the gamut of different things that people will put in that blank isn't allowed on keto. So there are no foods that are ketogenic or not ketogenic right off the top. That is, it just doesn't exist.
So the keto police just
Yes.
went off. The alarms just went off. The alarm just went off. Okay.
That's right.
Go ahead and finish your thought.
No food or bite of food is going to automatically knock every individual out of ketosis. It just doesn't happen that way. That's just a fallacy. So there are foods that you can't eat a great deal of and remain in ketosis, and for each person that is something different, and that is what can be a little bit difficult sometimes with the ketogenic diet.
And that's where I heard that blank is not keto. That
Right.
It's not allowed. So that's where that's coming from, is those certain foods or types of foods that will kick you out of ketosis. That's where that's coming from. Just again, yes, because like Sarah said, theoretically you can eat anything you want.
Yeah, it depends on your own metabolic condition.
You can eat anything you want.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that, if you realize that if you do this, then it's probably going to kick you out of ketosis. It may not, but you don't know that. So that's where that's where the keto, and if you ever hear us talk about keto police, that's.
And a lot of times when we're talking about the keto police, we're talking about foods that aren't inherently full of carbs. Some vegetables, some low sugar fruits, some things like that, tomatoes. I have a wonderful recipe that is super popular that I made a couple of years ago that is carrot cake. And yes, it does have a small amount of carrots in it over an entire cake. So if someone says carrots aren't ketogenic, well, it was still a ketogenic cake. So that's what we're talking about there. With this particular lifestyle, there seems to be a lot of rules and when I say rules, I'm using air quotes, that people will make up for this lifestyle that aren't necessarily true. And
I do think that there are some foods that are better suited for keto than other foods.
Yes.
And so,
agreed.
I mean, you need to keep that in mind.
And it's about balance.
Yeah, you need to keep that in mind, but I mean, theoretically, you can eat anything you want. We're not going to come to your house and do anything to you if you eat a piece of bread, because we're not even going to know that you did it. But what we're saying is, if you're going to have success on keto, you do need to realize that there are some differences, and there are some things that you can eat. Well, again, you can eat anything you want, but there's some things that will be more beneficial to your
more nutrient dense, more anti-inflammatory.
They'll be better for your keto lifestyle than other things that you were probably previously eating. So that, yes, there are things that we have given up to do keto. There are things that but if you look at all the recipes that we have on our channel, that's all about giving you options.
Correct.
And the reason we need to give you options is because we think you can live keto as a lifestyle. That's number one. But number two, we know that you probably shouldn't go get that cinnamon roll donut from the donut
That's
shop.
probably not keto.
That's probably not keto. But if we can give you an alternative and show you how you can make something similar on your own, then that can help you go from one meal one day to the next day and maybe make it through and not be tempted by a lot of the old stuff that you used to eat. So that's what that's all about. Yep, you've heard that certain things aren't keto. Well, that's true, but then that's not true because technically you can eat anything you want. You just have
and maybe you should avoid for yourself personally something at the start when you begin this lifestyle. And then maybe down the road when your body has normalized itself in the burning of ketones, you might be able to eat some of those foods again. Everyone is different.
I do think that it's important for people when they first start to have a really...
To be as clean as possible.
Yeah, be as clean as possible. I really do. I'm talking about for 3 weeks, month, be really clean. And when I mean clean, I'm talking about...
Bare bones, simple.
You're not eating a lot of keto snacks. You're not even really making stuff, you know. So, when we started keto back in the old days,
because we're geezers.
Back in the old days, there wasn't a lot of these products that are out that are available.
The popularity of the ketogenic diet was still very nil at that point. So, none of these big companies had jumped on the bandwagon of making things. There's stuff, if you're starting keto now, there's stuff you can do and you can buy at your local grocery store. That was not available 5 years ago.
That stuff wasn't available when we started keto. No. So again, I say all that because you can do anything you want, but there's certain things that are gonna hinder you from being successful and other things that won't. So
especially starting out.
So anyway, that's the 6 keto frequently asked questions that we decided to cover tonight. If this has been helpful or if you got anything to add to any of these, that's fine. Put it in the comments below. If you're interested in hearing another, what would be left? 6 from 30 will be 20.
A few. If you're interested in a few more questions.
Yeah, if you want to hear the other 24.
Because our math skills are stellar.
Yeah, if you want to. Yes, we didn't say keto would improve your math skills. No. But if you wanna hear more frequently asked questions, we'll do some of the other ones probably next month. So again, if you're new here, thanks for being here. We appreciate you watching us. The only way you'll know our videos when they come up is if you subscribe and hit the notification bell. And we hope that you have a great rest of the week. And we'll talk at you later. Bye-bye.
Peace.